As the clock ticks down on Tuesday's 4 p.m. trade deadline, the Patriots certainly have holes that could be filled if they choose to go that route. With the loss of linebacker Donta Hightower to a torn pectoral muscle, the defense not only misses the veteran's leadership but his ability rushing the passer as well as his presence in the middle of the second level. While Hightower's position may be the most difficult to replace, Patriots coach Bill Belichick can go in any variety of directions to improve his team. On Monday, Belichick detailed his approach at the trade deadline. Well, generally speaking, I think there are some teams that most teams aren't going to be involved with. Probably their direct competitors in this type of a situation, Belichick began. Not saying it can't happen, I just would say that's a little more unusual. Beyond that, some teams you have more conversations in the league with them than others, but in the end, I'm sure personnel departments in the league are doing the same thing. You look at your roster, you look at the players who are not on your roster, whether they're on your practice squad or whether they're on some other team's practice squad or whether they're not on anybody's team, and you put together a list of players that, if you had a need arise, would be the group of players that you go to. And, in conjunction with that, you look at the rosters of the other 31 teams in the league, and based on what you know, other information that you gather, the inactive list every week and the play time, you can start to see which players have a diminished role in another team's system, for whatever those reasons are. With that list compiled, Belichick can use it as a framework for trades. He used a swap with the Tennessee Titans in 2014 that brought in linebacker Akeem Myers as an example. And, a lot of times if a team has a need in an area and they match that up with another team who's not making a player active that the team with the depth issue feels like that player could give them depth, well then that's a potential conversation, Belichick continued. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's a potential conversation. So, for example, in the Ayers trade with Tennessee a couple of years ago, Akeem wasn't getting much playing time down there, wasn't active for, I forget however many games it was, but it was for a couple games, and when we inquired about him they mentioned it to us, however it went. Look, if you're making a player inactive every week and you can gain something in return on a trade, then maybe there's something to talk about there. I don't know. Belichick stressed the importance to see the deadline moves as ones that vary greatly depending on the circumstances. So, again, every situation is different, every team is different, every player's situation is different, he said. There's no go to the book on trades. Okay, Chapter 1, here's how it goes. It just doesn't really work that way. It's a very fluid situation. Things can change literally in a period of minutes, and that's the world we live in, and there are a lot of things in that situation that are out of our control, out of any team's control. Anytime you're trying to exchange players, you have to find somebody else that you can find the right or fair exchange with that both teams feel is fair so that they'll do it. So, that's, I would say, in this business, not the easiest thing to do, he added. There's a lot of learning and communication and system pickup or familiarity that plays into the whole player exchange, so in a way, the player that you have that knows the system, knows what he's doing, knows everything that he needs to do in your system has a good value to you. That's what you put all the time and training into. So, if you get another player that doesn't have that, there's got to be enough to offset it or enough of a need to go through that. So, each one's different. I wouldn't try to read too much into any of it. I think trying to predict what's going to happen this time of year is, I don't have any idea. I'm sure a lot of the other experts out there do, but I don't. So, you just take it as it comes. If it makes sense and it works, then great. If it doesn't, it doesn't.